everyone, Amber Canoy here with Everyday Kentucky. The holidays can be quite difficult for anybody suffering with addiction. So Joy is with us at Clean Slate Centers, your regional director, and I am curious, what do you really recommend to people who are suffering with addiction, dealing with that through the holidays? Because I know the holidays can be stressful enough, right? Then you layer that on top, and it just seems like if you're not really proactive, it could be really, really difficult.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Holidays can be a wonderful time of year, and yet there's so many additional stressors that come with the holidays. Financial stressors, we find a lot of people really struggling with that. Some family dynamics can be really difficult as well. And then schedules can become really, really overwhelming. So these things can be really difficult for people to manage, anyone to manage, during the holidays, let alone someone who's in recovery, who maybe in the past they had used alcohol or other substances to kind of cope with those. So now they're learning different ways to cope with those, healthier ways. So what you said, it's really being proactive during the holidays.
What should family members who know maybe one of their loved ones is in recovery or suffers, with maybe self-medicating a little bit in some ways that are not healthy?
Sure.
Maybe they, aren't really in addiction recovery, but are struggling with themselves. Let's just put that out there, because a lot of people tend to do that during the holidays. What can we do as family members to kind of help maybe take a breath and help them in the situation?
Yeah. So one of the best things is being a great sober support for that person. So having those support systems in place are really, really, really important, because we're going to need to lean on those people a little more. But definitely encouraging everyone to have a plan and be proactive. So when you have a plan in place, you can help to look at avoiding certain situations that you can, and sometimes we can't avoid those situations. So if we can't avoid them, then what are we going to do? And part of that plan is identifying our triggers.
Okay.
So if we know what our triggers are, then we can kind of have a plan to be able to successfully cope with those triggers so that we can stay on track with our recovery.
Okay, so we find ourselves in some of those triggering, those very stressful situations. What do we do?
Yeah, so again, it's having a plan in place, because you're right, we can't always avoid those situations, and using our sober support network. So whether it's having someone check in on us, once an hour or every half hour, or we can even send a text message to one of our supports, and that text message is a code for like, hey, I need you to come and get me, I need some help right now. It can be bringing our own drinks, so that we make sure that there's no alcohol in them, and make sure that we're pouring our own beverages just to make sure that we're safe. And then we also need to make sure that we have our own transportation in place, because we don't want to rely on someone else for transportation. We want to make sure that if we need to exit, to make sure that we can protect our recovery, that we have that out.
What's one thing, if they can listen to this and walk away with it and be like, please hear me when I say this, what would it be?
I would say that it would be that self-care is critical during the holidays, and it is not being selfish at all when we're putting our recovery first. So making sure that we have that plan in place, that we're able to successfully manage our triggers, and that we have those sober supports to be able to lean on, and especially during the holidays, those supports are going to be even more needed. We're going to need to reach out, and that is perfectly fine. Make sure that we're doing that, whether it's in person or online or whatever it is. Make sure that we are continuing to follow through with those support systems. And of course, if anyone is in help with their recovery, Clean Slate is always here to be able to help with recovery. We have a dedicated team of professionals who are able to and really want to help everyone achieve their recovery goals.